Hello, my name is Lieutenant Jared Alden. I work for the Akron Fire Department in Akron, Ohio as a line lieutenant for Station 14, running an engine and medic company out of there. We're a combo company. Next year, April of 2023 at FDIC, I'm going to be instructing a pre-conference workshop from 0800 till noon on the dangers of explosives in the fire and EMS services. There's many things that we need to understand when we walk into many scenes, be it on the fire, be it on the EMS side. You have to be aware of some of these dangerous components out there to explosives, and we'll kind of just brush over those really, really quick. But the first thing to look for would be, it's called CAMP. If you see chlorates, like bleaches, acids, metals, and any kind of peroxides that are camping out close together, somebody's probably making a bomb. And if somebody can make a bomb, then they can also make drugs. And that's usually what happens is drug dealers, for example, will make drugs, but then they'll also make bombs so that they can protect their drugs with booby traps and things like that. So we have to be cognizant of this stuff. We have to be aware of this stuff. We also want to make sure that we're looking for fully constructed devices, so improvised explosive devices, and the way that you know if they're fully constructed, depending on the type of explosive, if it's a high or low explosive, would be another acronym that we use called SPICES. So switch, power source, initiator, such as a Christmas tree bulb or maybe even a blasting cap if they're more sophisticated, a container itself that holds that explosive material would be that E, and then finally that last S stands for shrapnel. And shrapnel is what is placed inside of a device or around a device to increase its lethality. We're also going to be looking at responses to this as well. So how are we going to respond once we get there? What kind of incident command system or structure are we going to set up? Who's going to run it? It depends on what kind of structure is involved. If it's pre-blast or post-blast, at least in the city of Akron, if it's pre-blast, it's going to be the police department. It's going to be some county bomb squad teams. And then for us, it would be the arson investigators post-blast with ATF and FBI. And if they find out that it's some kind of terrorist-related incident, usually FBI will take charge. If it's gang-related, usually ATF will take charge of that situation. If it's a hate crime, FBI will take charge. We're also going to be looking at blast injuries as well. So we're going to be looking at primary blast injuries. So primary blast injuries are due to that really, really strong blast wave that pushes out, that causes that huge PSI rise. We saw that in the 2005 London subway bombings. The PSI rise went from roughly 117 PSI from the initial blast, because they were in a confined space, to roughly 640 PSI. So now you're talking, major hollow organ damage like the lungs, the intestines, the eardrums. And some of the newer research now coming from the military is saying that a lot of these overpressures can get absorbed into the thoracic cavity and travel through the vascular system and cause traumatic brain injury. So very, very dangerous stuff, and sometimes the stuff doesn't manifest till 24 to 48 hours later. Your secondary injuries are going to be from your projectiles, for example. So it'll be like fragmentation from the device itself, and then that shrapnel that's included, like hex nuts, nails, bolts, BBs, to increase the lethality of that device. Then we're going to be talking about tertiary injuries and how to treat those. Those are more of your blunt force trauma injuries due to that negative pressure pulling you back to the seat of the blast. And then quaternary injuries would be your thermal injuries and also your crush injuries. And there's different treatment modalities that we can use for that, like sodium bicarb, for example, if there's a crush injury and somebody has just been extricated. And then your quinary injuries at the end, again, that's more substances that are added to these devices to increase the lethality, like chemical, biological, and radiological materials. So I hope to see you there. I think we're going to have a great time. I'm going to have a lot of props. I'm going to have some wound packing stations, some tourniquet stations, and then we're going to really, really get down to the nuts and bolts of a lot of these various devices that we're seeing out there today. So I hope you stay safe. Come see me next April 2023 on that Monday for that pre-conference workshop at 0800. Love to see you there. Be safe and have a good one.